Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chasing the Cord. I'm James Pratt, and we got our co-host Matt King with us tonight, and we're going to talk with Andrew Cunhs. He's got a great story coming from an obese child up to where he is right now, getting ready for his first competition. So let's bring him on. It is.
How we doing, guys?
How's it going, man?
Hey Andrew, how
How's
you
it going?
doing?
How are y'all?
Doing good, doing good.
Doing great. Hey, appreciate you being on the show tonight.
This is exciting.
Oh yeah, man, it's exciting. I think you got a great story. Matt and I got a lot of things we're probably going to throw at
Okay.
you. Appreciate you being here. If you don't mind, for a lot of us that don't know your story and know a lot about you, talk about because you've got a great story.
Mm-hmm.
You were the pictures that we've seen and what we've talked. You were a pretty large young man. Talk about how heavy you were, how you grew up, how you felt, and just get to where you are right now, if you don't mind,
All
Andrew.
right, let's start this out. Basically, I grew up with a mom and three sisters, kind of the only man. I had a stepdad for a while, but he worked a lot and slept a lot.
Yeah.
So I grew up being pretty responsible for everybody around me, and I think I developed almost a deal where I didn't take care of myself or didn't really look at myself. And the lifestyle I had growing up, we ate a lot of fast food, and I mean, nothing against my mom, love her to death, and not saying anything bad about her by any means, but she had a hard time. I mean, because she was pretty much a single parent. So
Single mom.
we were
Yeah.
always on the run, fast food, McDonald's. I mean, the works, typical American society nowadays, sadly. But that happened. So I was always heavy growing up. Never really had many friends and anything like that because I got picked on a lot. Bullying's prevalent. I mean, it's a real thing, unfortunately, also. Um,
So when you got bullied, let me stop you there, Andrew. Because it's interesting, because Matt got bullied
Oh
mm,
yeah.
and you've gotten
yeah,
bullied. So what were some of the things they did to you? I mean, when you were getting bullied,
man,
and maybe Matt will throw some stuff in. And
the worst thing like that stands out the most to me in my mind was probably about seventh or eighth grade, and the like purple nurples, man. Like people just like walking past you because I mean, fat little kid, you got titties and stuff like that. I mean, so people would like walk past me, like pinch me and twist the shit out of it, and like I would
oh
bruise.
Yeah.
Like
man,
I would come home be covered in bruises, and I wouldn't take my shirt off around my family just because they'd be like, "Well, what happened to you?" And I didn't want to talk about it because I mean, a young
Yeah.
average
how big
teenager.
how big were you?
Uh,
How heavy were you in junior high? And
I wasn't like horribly obese, but I mean, I like right now I'm at 188 or 87 pounds, and I haven't been this weight since probably middle school. So I've always been pretty heavy on the heavier side up until about 17 when I started to or decided to join the Marine Corps, and my
yeah,
recruiter worked with me a lot, and I did a lot of running and like, well, I guess that's the next part of my story too. Joined the Marine Corps at 17, and then kind of I mean, I was in running shape. I was like, because I mean, that's all we did was run. Didn't really lift weights or anything like that. And then did that for my 4 years. Decided to get out. And looking back now, like going from that culture of being 17, like a brand new adult, so to speak, and going into a life that was so structured, where you're told what to do and how to do 24/7 for 4 years, like that basically brought me into my adult life. And then I decided to get out, and I was just like, bam, nothing, like no support, no friends, nowhere to go, no structure, nothing to tell me what to do. I had to figure all this shit out by myself, and I was at 22, 23,
hmm
and that in turn led me to make extremely horrible decisions. I got depressed, I got lonely, I ate, I put myself in a position where I got into this extremely toxic relationship for about 5 years, and that was really what put my weight on me. Was I was so depressed, I didn't have anything, I had no livelihood, I had no savings account, no credit, nothing. So like life was at as low as it could go, and
yeah.
I just ate myself to death basically. And long story short, I got out of that, thank goodness, after going back to her about 3 or 4 times because
That's what happens in
I
a
know
toxic
how it goes.
relationship. That's what
I know
happens.
how it
well, it's
goes.
just how it happened,
Yeah,
man. And then I put all my, I mean, even as big as I was when we were together, like that picture of me in that yellow tank top. that was at the end of that relationship. Like that was at
How heavy were you in that
It was
picture?
at right about 280. So
280.
yeah, a little under 300 pounds. And I mean, I'm sure I was bigger than that at that point or at some point in life, but hopefully not. I hope it was bad. Looking back at
Yeah.
those pictures, it's actually like almost makes you nauseous. It's kind of bad. But anyways, so I got out of that and then I moved back to Arkansas and well, no, actually, yeah, I moved back to Arkansas and then I stayed here for a while and I was working at bars and stuff like that. And then I got into a bunch of other different problems different problems and beats.
Was it drugs or something?
I did.
Yeah.
I got involved with, I guess, the wrong crowd. And I moved into this house because
Sure.
I didn't have a job or a house or anything like that. And I was living
Sure.
with my sister and then I basically got out of there just because she had a family and I felt like I was being a burden and I don't like to borrow or ask for anything, really kind of stubborn that way. And so I moved into this house with some of my friends, got into doing coke and all that, and it got into an extremely bad situation. And I'm lucky that I got out when I did because stuff was getting pretty serious, and it really made me open my eyes. And that was going on about 3 years ago, roughly 2.5.
Oh wow, that's pretty recent.
2.5, 3 years ago, and I turned basically that into the gym and turned fitness into my main priority because I mean, growing up and stuff like that, I wasn't like super big into fitness. I didn't grow up on Arnold or anything like that. That wasn't even in my mind. I never knew about bodybuilding until like the Marine Corps. Like past then, like that's when I really started getting into fitness and like actually seeing magazines and stuff like that and apps and all that stuff because that's when it all started coming out. But so I mean that came later in my life, but then like also looking back into my life, seeing how I had no confidence, I had no friends, I wasn't a social icon, I was never the center of attention. I couldn't even hardly get a girl, like, and if I did, it was like a month long thing, and it was done. Yep. So I mean, like, and then you see these guys like walking out of a gym like fully ripped and stuff like that. Like some of my reasons is for the girl. Like as cliche as it is, like it's nice to be attractive and it's nice to be wanted by people because when you live your whole life on that back burner, like you finally step into the light and like I take my shirt off in the gym right now and it's a big deal for me because like
the girls didn't give you attention then, but they do now. The same ones.
That's right.
Like, oh, now.
Hey, but
now
you know,
I'm
Andrew.
invisible.
Yeah. That's true.
That's right. Hey, but talk a little bit about why you take your shirt off, though.
I mean, I'm not doing it to get attention. It's my main reason, and talking with my coach and everything like that. Like, we devised that taking off my shirt in front of people now is going to get me used to being ready for the stage. Because even the way I look right now, I still see fat. Like, I have loose skin on my stomach, and it's tightening it up, and I'm doing stuff to help it out, and creams and everything like that, and like working hard. But I see that as that fat stomach that I had, like my love handles, like even like in like I'll wear like spandex underwear or whatever, and like my love handle skin, not fat, will hang over, and I'm like I see just a massive sack of fat on my side, and it eats me up because like I'm so scarred by
that's
who
like
I
when
was.
I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, I'm small.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what the hell? You're not small. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm small. I look at myself like, oh, especially at prep. I have huge problems with that.
Yeah.
I really get in my head on prep. I'm like, I'm just going to wither away and to nothing.
Yeah.
And it's not true, but it's like you have that in your head, just like you see fat. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see my bones. Like I'm just, yeah.
It's truly scarring, and I think a lot of people
body dysmorphia.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of people don't I think get into fitness because they're scared of that change. Like for instance, I come from a family that's all pretty heavy, and like I know my mom, she wants to get into fitness and everything like that, but like I think she's scared. Like she's told me like, well, what am I going to do with the skin? What am I going to do with this? And like I think that scares a lot of people, which is it's sad and disheartening because I mean I get it because I do have extra skin and stuff like that, but there's people that have it a lot worse than I do. But it's just like you got to embrace that change and like live a better lifestyle for it because you're gonna actually live longer if you actually take care of yourself. So it's whichever battle you want to fight, I guess. I don't know. It's a hard battle though. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but so when you got you got in the gym, you're working out, did you have surgery to lose the weight? How long did it take you to lose weight? I mean, I just want to know your
Oh,
story, if
okay.
you had to do surgery or if you had to just change your lifestyle. And if you did have to change your lifestyle, how long has that process been going?
From those pictures at my heaviest, that was right around 3.5 years ago. I haven't had any surgeries or gastric bypass or anything like that. I haven't done anything for my skin. I've just literally, I mean, my biggest switch was my diet, like, cause I enjoyed lifting weights and everything like that. But I still ate whatever I wanted. Like, so when I first got into the fitness journey, I was going down like a powerlifting kind of thing. Like I was chubby, but I was strong,
Okay.
and that's how I started. And then really focused on, hey, I'm not losing any fat, and I did a lot of research on YouTube. I learned a lot of stuff from
Yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah. You got to start
surprisingly. Like,
somewhere.
so I just started doing research there, and I would buy a book here and there, and then I would learn actually about macros and fats and carbs and how everything worked and the science behind fitness and nutrition. And I just slowly started incorporating smaller pieces into my life until like basically I was putting together a puzzle and trying to just figure it out piece by piece. Because I mean, I didn't have any solid knowledge, and I was too stubborn and I think embarrassed to go talk to a trainer or like involve myself with somebody that was fitter than I was, just because I mean there was that intimidation factor. And as sad as it is, like there's some egotistical people in this world, and like if you're not in shape, they're not going to look at you twice. And my biggest thing is I don't want to ever become that person because I know how downgrading it was to me, like when I was fat in the gym trying. Like, but I mean, just slowly started, and then nutrition really, I got strict on my nutrition about a year and a half ago, and that's when I started losing the bulk of my fat, and it just started like piling off, and then upping my cardio, and then I got light enough. I was about 230 when I could start doing like hit style workouts and not CrossFit so to speak, but like just fast paced, high reps and everything like that, like going really quick, get my heart rate up and everything like that. And that training style actually really helped me a lot. Just kind of because I sat at 240, 230 for a good while, like 3 or 4 months, and I had a big trouble breaking past that. But high cardio hurt my knees and joints because I was so heavy for so long and everything like that. So it was really a big transition of like, what can I get away with this week? How can I incorporate this next week? And really just like going on the building blocks of how to improve myself slowly and do what my body was capable of at the time. And kind of like not rush it too much, but definitely just walk the process slowly. So just journey, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, when you started, when you were like doing cardio when you very first started losing weight, did you just walk on a treadmill just kind of light for a few minutes to start training your body
I
to
actually used
to
a
to
swimming pool. Like
you
yeah, there was
did?
we had like a 4 foot swimming pool in my apartment, and I would just like walk
Yeah.
straight across it back and forth, and then like walking through water. Like when I was that heavy, there was so much resistance, it was ridiculous. Like going across there once, my heart rate was probably at like 160. Like it was ridiculous. So I just did that back and forth
Wow.
until I could start walking and then start jogging and start running, and then I would incorporate.
How long did it take you to get to the walking outside of the pool? How long were you in that pool before you could actually go out and start walking?
I mean,
How long did it take you to train?
I didn't have to necessarily start in the pool. I just liked it. I would still incorporate
Yeah.
walking and stuff like that. I wasn't like where I couldn't move around and everything like that. I could still
Right.
function, but I mean, I just think the pool was really challenging, and it was a tougher challenge than just walking down the street. I mean, it added that
Yeah.
resistance in the water and having to keep balance and
Yeah.
everything like that, and work those stabilizer muscles in your legs and everything like that. So I think it was more incorporating and a little bit less impact. So I mean, I just enjoyed
Way
that
less
more.
impact on your
Yeah.
joints.
So it kind
Yeah.
of supported me.
Yeah.
I used to lifeguard, and I would see those classes that they had, the little fitness classes, the
Yeah.
aquatic, they had these little foam things that they, little dumbbells that they move around in the water. But I mean, like you said, that resistance, like it'll give you a workout.
Yeah.
Like watch
Definitely
them
will.
do it, and it's no impact on your joints. And I feel good after I go for a swim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what did you think when your coach told you for the very first time, I want you to take your shirt off and train in the gym with no shirt on?
I looked at her and I was like, are you serious? I was like, why? I was like, I don't want to be that guy that's like just standing there like, how do I word this? Basically, I'm not trying to be the asshole in the gym, just standing there with his
Yeah.
shirt off, like everybody look at me, because nobody knows my story. Nobody knows that I was fat. Like, they don't know who I am. They don't know where I came from. So they can just be like, well, look at this guy. And I don't want to give off that impression. And I don't want people thinking that I'm some egotistical person, because I'm pretty nice.
That's
Like,
what they think.
yeah.
That's
And
what
I
they
mean,
think.
it's
Yeah.
it's bad enough because I have a resting aggressive face, I guess I've been told. So I look mean, and I'm zoned out, focused in the zone and everything like that. And I've been told that I'm very unapproachable. I don't want that aspect at all. Like, I want to be very approachable. I want to help other people if they have questions and anything like that. And anything that I can help with, I want to. But I don't know. I sat there and I was like, I mean, okay. And then like she hyped me up and she told me that I was looking good, and she was telling me, like, walking me through, and like we were doing my comparison pictures from a couple weeks prior. And she's like, look, you got this going on, you got this going on, your legs are leaning out. So she like boosted my confidence up enough to actually where I was comfortable enough with taking off my shirt. Like, I still have days where, like earlier today, actually, I took my shirt off very briefly, and I felt kind of watery and fat, and I was like, I'm not feeling it today. So I put my shirt back on, went and worked up a sweat again, and came back, took it off. Like, it's basically facing a fear, because I mean, like I said, going back to the whole fat thing, it's challenging myself just to take my shirt off in front of people, but I have to get used to it because I'm going to be on the stage in 4 months. So it works out, but it's just an obstacle that I got to face and overcome.
Do you ever sit down and look at those pictures and tell yourself, I'm never going back to that? I mean, do you ever have those, or do you try to stay away from
Yeah, actually, I was going through some of my pictures earlier today, during my cheat meal. My first one was great. um,
What'd you have?
I had a 2-pound porterhouse, some fries, a salad, some dropped rolls, and
Woo!
some chili tamales. It was
Oh,
it
yeah.
was stupid.
You had a good one.
It was stupid.
That's,
There you go.
that's kind of like Matt's eating. That's what Matt
Dude,
means.
That's a meal right
That's
there.
his kind of meal.
It was good stuff, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna eat again tonight, but I probably will, because 30 minutes from now I'll be hungry.
Yeah, we got to be eating again.
Yeah, but it was a good cheat meal. I'm gonna be miserable more than likely tomorrow during legs, so it's
Yeah.
gonna suck, but I'll make it through.
Yeah, I love doing cheat day before legs.
Yeah, I mean,
Cheat
I'll have some
meal.
power. I'm worried I'm gonna throw up everywhere, man. My stomach is all torn
Oh,
up right
wait. You're doing legs like after you eat it or like tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow morning I'm doing legs. I had it tonight, so
Oh, yeah.
I
You'll be
should be
good.
digested.
You'll be good.
Should be digested.
It'll be all stored and ready to use.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep. Hey, we were talking about going back and looking at your pictures, right?
Oh, yeah.
And do you use those as motivation? And,
Yes. And so, I mean, I do look back at all these photos, and like, this is what I was. And I look at, like, especially if I'm having a down day, or if I'm feeling fat, or if I'm not feeling the best or the best about myself, I look at those, and then I look at my check-in picture, and I'm like, look what you did. Like, nobody can take that away from me. Like, I did this for me.
That's right.
And like, up until now, I haven't had a coach. Like, I've done this by myself to better myself for myself. And now that
Yes.
I've done this for me, I want to help other people do it for them. Like, I don't want to be somebody that makes it into the fitness world and is like, look at me climb to the top. I mean, if I do climb to the top, I want to be like, hey, look, I'm up here. Let me help you come along with me. I don't want to be that person that's just like, wow, look, I made it. I'm head of the, or king of the mountain. Like, now y'all can't have anything. Like, I don't want to be selfish, and I want to maintain my modesty and my humility, so to speak, during this whole process, so that way I can help these other people basically make the change in their life, because it's a hard life going from skinny to buff, or fat to buff. Like, anything too buff is hard. Like, it's a hard venture.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I use that as motivation to keep myself going for the bigger picture of how I can help other people when I do make it. So
I got a question for you.
it fuels a lot of stuff.
What did you ever in your wildest dreams think that you would be competing in a bodybuilding show?
No, I mean, and that's dude, it's mind blowing.
That's exactly how I
boggling.
am.
Like,
Never thought
dude,
that would happen.
I am like exasperated to be in this very moment on this podcast talking about fitness. Like, I never thought I would be here. Like,
funny
coach,
how life takes you
like
places.
my coach told me, she's like, hey, she's like, I got a
Yep.
surprise for you, and she's like, this is what it is. I was like, are you kidding? Like for real? Like this is real? like it's so crazy and like motivating. Like just the people you meet, like people that I look up to, people that I've seen. Like I'm getting to talk to people that I aspire to be, and like it's your dreams coming true is like just not a better feeling in the world, man. Like I could not put a dollar amount on this. Like the way I feel and like what I know is coming. I don't have words to describe the emotions and feelings and just sheer amazingness of this, I guess, for lack of better words.
Sure.
I'm excited. I'm beyond excited. So
Well, people need to hear.
Yeah, hey.
People like you, like where you came from, they need to hear this from you.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking probably what you thought a few times is, man, this is gonna be impossible. There's no way I can do this. You know, they just feel stuck.
Yep.
You know, they don't have the motivation. You know, they don't think it's possible. They just don't try. I mean, but hearing something like, you know, you like you said, you were rock bottom, and you came from that, and you turned it around yourself. No, you know, no one told you to do that. I mean, you got bullied about it. I did too, but I mean, no one said,
that's
"Hey,
some
go
good
work
motivation."
out. Hey, go work out." Like, no, you know, I got negative motivation just like you did. You know, it's like why, like I'm wearing Under Armour right now. When I wore that in junior high, they'd ask me why I was wearing that because I wasn't an athlete and I shouldn't be wearing that. Like, just stupid things like that. It sounds stupid, but like to you and me,
No.
words like that, they stay in your head. Like I remember them saying that long ago.
Yeah.
Like,
but you know, you bring up a very good point, Matt. I mean, they got onto you because you were skinny.
I was
You
quiet.
know, and things like
I didn't really.
You were quiet. Why are you wearing athletic stuff? Because you're not an athlete. You know, what are some of the things that the kid? I know they would twist your nipple and stuff like that, but what were some of the words that they would say to you? What would they call you?
Man,
If they did anything, if they called you anything.
to be honest, I can't really remember. I blocked a good part of that of my life out, but I mean, I got names just like everybody else got. I mean, I've always had a relatively large glute. I've always had a big butt. So I got that was an issue. I got J-Lo. That was a good one for a couple years. Like getting walked around called J-Lo because I had a big ass. Like that sucked. There was just a plethora of different names. Like, I mean, just like everybody else. I don't know. Nothing big. I don't think that really stands out.
Yeah.
But
now, when all that was going on, like in your early years in your high school before you got into the Marines, when they would do things to you like that, I mean, would it drive you to go eat more? I mean, you get depressed or whatever, and you say, "Look, and you just go eat." I mean, how did you deal with? I mean, how did you get that in your mind and dealt with it? How did you do that?
Man, I really didn't deal with it. Like looking back into my teenage years, like my whole life was chaos. Like my room, you couldn't walk through. There was junk everywhere, like toys, crap, just stuff thrown everywhere. Like you literally could not walk a straight path through my room. Like I didn't care about my homework. I was really good at tests. I didn't apply myself at all. Like I had no motivation at life. And yeah, I would come home and I would eat and eat and eat. If there was something sweet in the house, I would take a whole box of it upstairs and just eat it because it tasted good. It made me feel good. And you know what? At that point in time, I had nothing else going for me. Food tastes good. I'm going to eat it. So, I mean, yeah, I did eat quite a bit. And like I had nights where I was like eating in my sleep. Like I would literally like sleepwalk
Like
to a
you
fridge.
would sleep, eat.
Yeah.
You would be sleeping and
Yeah,
eating.
like I would go to the fridge. I would wake up with food in my bed. Like my mom would tell me about it all the time. She would walk into the kitchen and see me in the fridge in the middle of the night just eating. And
wow,
no idea. I don't know why it happened. Never got it looked into. But I don't think it happens anymore. Hopefully, because that would really ruin my macros. Yeah. So I mean, there was a lot of weird stuff that like revolved around food. And like I said, I mean, I come from a family that was pretty heavy, and so I mean there was always a good amount of sweet stuff and bad stuff in our house, and it wasn't a healthy lifestyle. And if my mom ever does hear this, I do apologize. I'm not talking bad about your mom or anything like that, but I mean,
but see, this is the
it is
thing.
what it is.
When you're in a situation like that, and you're the only one trying to eat like the way we do, it makes it even harder because when I was back at home, my parents just eat whatever, and I'm over here complaining about my food, and they're like, well, then, or like, oh, I wish I could have that or something.
Yeah.
They'll encourage the negative. They'll be like, oh yeah, go ahead. It won't hurt. One piece of cake won't hurt.
Yeah.
You're in prep. One piece of cake won't hurt. It won't kill you. Like, it's hard to do it around that.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a family and they're eating completely separate from you.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was on vacation in Florida, and they were eating pizza and all the stuff I would love to eat, and I'm over here reheating my cod and rice. Yeah. I'm so excited about this. It's just
that's it.
And now I'm really glad the roommate I found he wants to start doing this too, and it's like it makes it easier when you have people around you that think similarly or understand it at least, and they encourage it, not come on man, let's go out, it'll be fine, have a couple drinks, it won't kill you, it's just one time, and then tomorrow becomes, oh, it's just one time, and then the next day is, oh, it's just one time, and then you have a problem.
Yeah, a whole lot of my growing up. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
A whole lot of my growing up in these last couple of years has really been about almost isolating myself, and it's kind of selfish. I understand that, because I don't see my family as much as I need to and everything like that. But I'm making my goals happen, and I'm doing something for me. So I understand it is a little bit selfish, but I to be honest, I don't have friends. I don't go out. I don't hang out with other people outside of work really, or the gym. Like, I'll socialize there and everything like that. But I've really isolated myself, and I think that's helped me a lot with my focus and my drive and not making bad decisions or not going out and drinking. Because if you're hanging out with a group of guys, you're going to go do something stupid, because we're guys and we're stupid. So, I've completely isolated myself. Like, I live alone, 1-bedroom apartment, no pets, nothing, no other responsibilities besides work, gym, food, sleep, basically. And I like it, because I know my plan, I know my schedule. It's kind of like I've recouped that structure from the military and turned it into my life and fitness now, and really figured out how I can break that, what I've learned as a younger adult, and translate it into something that clearly works, because the U.S. military is doing a somewhat decent job with structure. Let me apply that to my life, so that way I can move forward and basically excel that way on something that I was taught at a younger age. So really incorporated it in that way as well. So, but the isolation it does help a lot.
Sometimes you have to do it.
Yeah, and it's hard for people, because not a lot of people.
It's hard to say no.
Not a lot of people are a single 28-year-old man that has no kids, has no wife or anything like that. Like, so I get other people's struggles with fitness and everything like that, but for me, the isolation worked really well.
Now, what is your mom and your sister? What do they say when they see you now? How you look from where you were? How do they act?
Yeah, well, actually, like the other day, it felt really good, because I was talking to my mom, and she told me how proud of me she was. And a lot of the reason why I joined the military was to make my mom proud, because she was a very young, or not very, she was a teenager when she had me and my older sister. And people always told her that her kids weren't going to amount to anything because she was a kid, yada, yada. Like previous generations, it was rougher for people back then. They didn't understand the situations, yada, yada. But a lot of people told her that her kids weren't going to amount to nothing. And I joined the military to prove that wrong. So that way people could see, like, hey, she was a good mom. She did what she could. Like, I'm a good person. I'm a good human being. I'm doing something completely selfless. Like, she's a good person. Leave her alone. So, for her to sit there and tell me that she was proud of me because I'm making my dreams come true, it's a really good feeling. And I know she's proud of me. This is emotional. Holy shit.
No, hey, get emotional. That's all right. You're letting it out, man. That's great. Because it's real.
That means a lot to me, just because.
Sure.
Like, she deserves to know that she made something that can make their dreams come true. Like,
that's it.
Like, she raised this. She put my work and my drive. She instilled that in me as a toddler. Like, if she wouldn't have helped me out with that and talked me through all my bad times, I wouldn't be sitting right here. I would probably be gone off and done something more stupid than I have done in my life already. And she's helped me through a lot. And to hear her tell me she was proud of me, it was a really good feeling. So
that's great.
So
Yeah.